Have you ever laughed while reading a book, only to suddenly feel a sharp truth hidden between the jokes? That's the magic of Mark Twain, the man who made the world laugh and then made it think. He's often called the father of American literature, but he was also a school dropout, a riverboat pilot, a failed miner, a world traveler, and a fearless critic of his own society. In this episode, we dive into the fascinating life of Samuel Langhorne Clemens, better known as Mark Twain, and learn English through the story of a man who shaped American wit with a pen dipped in both humor and justice. Part 1. A Boy from the Mississippi. Mark Twain was born in 1835 in the small town of Florida, Missouri. He was the sixth of 7 children, but only 3 survived to adulthood. When Twain was just 4 years old, his family moved to Hannibal, a river town along the Mississippi. Little Samuel Clemens was a sickly child. He spent much of his early years indoors, reading, observing, and dreaming. But what he saw outside his window left a deep impression. Slavery, poverty, riverboats, gamblers, and the vast beauty and danger of the Mississippi River. The river would become the heart of many of his future stories. When he was 11, Twain's father died. The boy left school the next year and began working as a printer's apprentice. He taught himself by reading everything he could: newspapers, books, labels, even advertisements. Part 2. The Call of the River. In his 20s, Twain fulfilled a dream. He trained to become a steamboat pilot on the Mississippi. He loved the job. The freedom, the challenge, the rhythm of the river, it felt like home. The phrase Mark Twain was a depth measurement, meaning the water was 2 fathoms deep, safe for navigation. It became his pen name. But then the Civil War broke out and river traffic stopped. Twain briefly joined a Confederate unit, but left quickly. War didn't suit him. He soon headed west. Part 3. The Gold Rush and the Birth of a Writer. Twain went to Nevada, hoping to strike it rich in silver mining. He failed badly, but he found something else: his voice. While broke and frustrated, he began writing humorous sketches for a newspaper in Virginia City. His wit, sarcasm, and unique storytelling stood out. He signed his articles Mark Twain, and the name stuck. In 1865, he published a short story called The Celebrated Jumping Frog of Calaveras County. It was an instant hit. America had found a new kind of humorist, sharp, playful, and deeply American. Part 4. Fame, Fortune, and Travel. Twain began to travel the world and write about it. His travel books, The Innocents Abroad, Roughing It, A Tramp Abroad, mixed comedy with keen cultural observation. He married a wealthy woman named Olivia Langdon in 1870 and settled in Hartford, Connecticut. For a time, life was golden. He wrote The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and later The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, books that would become classics of American literature. But he wasn't just telling childhood stories. Huckleberry Finn, in particular, was a powerful criticism of slavery, racism, and the hypocrisy of society. Twain used a child's voice to tell grown-up truths. Part 5. Bankruptcy and Tragedy. Despite his success, Twain was terrible with money. He invested in failed inventions and businesses, and by the 1890s, he was deeply in debt. To pay off his creditors, Twain went on a world lecture tour. He was already famous, people came in droves to hear him speak, and his sarcasm and storytelling filled theaters around the globe. But personal tragedies kept striking. Twain lost 3 of his 4 children and his beloved wife, Olivia. His later writings became darker, full of disappointment and biting satire. Still, he never stopped writing or laughing. Part 6. A Legacy Carved in Ink. Mark Twain died in 1910, the same year Halley's Comet passed by, just as it had in the year he was born. Twain had once predicted, "I came in with the comet, I shall go out with it." And he did. His legacy lives on not just through literature, but through his ideas. Twain challenged racism, religious hypocrisy, blind patriotism, and inequality, often with a joke. He showed that laughter could be a weapon and a light. Language lesson. Learn English from Mark Twain. Let's look at 3 interesting phrases or structures from Twain's writing style, which you can use in your own English. 1. The reports of my death are greatly exaggerated. A famous Twain quote, "Use this to humorously deny false rumors about yourself." 2. Truth is stranger than fiction. Twain often pointed out how bizarre real life is. Use this when something unbelievable actually happens. 3. I didn't have time to write a short letter, so I wrote a long one instead. A reminder that concise writing is harder than it seems. This helps learners understand the value of editing and clarity. Final thoughts. Mark Twain once said, "Kindness is the language which the deaf can hear and the blind can see." He gave America its most honest mirror, and he made sure we laughed while looking into it. If you're learning English, reading Mark Twain is more than learning words. It's learning how to think, joke, and question like a true writer.